You didn't press play on this by accident. Something pulled you here, a whisper, a gut feeling, a flicker in your spirit, because you're not just searching for motivation, you're remembering who you are. This is not just another speech. This is your confirmation. You see, the world loves to measure a woman's strength by how loud she roars. But let me tell you something real. True power, true fire, it's quiet. It's sacred. It's in the woman who prays when no one's watching. The one who falls, breaks, and still folds her hands, not in defeat, but in alignment with something deeper than pain. You know who she is. She's the warrior woman of prayer, and she doesn't just survive storms. She commands them. She fights battles no one sees, not because she wants to be a hero, but because life gave her no choice. She's the one who shows up with a smile when her world is falling apart inside. She wipes her own tears in silence, takes a deep breath, and walks back out like nothing happened. Not because it's easy, but because she's built different. Her strength isn't about being loud, it's about being consistent, even when everything in her wants to give up. There are days when she prays with nothing but empty hands. Days when she's drained, exhausted, wondering if anyone even sees how hard she's trying. But still, she gets back up. She keeps showing up. She keeps whispering those quiet prayers that no one else hears. And those prayers, they're not just words, they're battles. They're her way of saying, I'm still here, when everything is trying to push her under. She doesn't ask for pity. She doesn't post her pain for the world to validate her. She just lives through it, feels every ounce of it, and transforms it into something powerful. That's what makes her a warrior. Not the fact that she's never been knocked down, but that she's mastered the art of getting back up over and over again. Some people won't understand her strength. They'll wonder why she's so calm, why she doesn't lash out, why she doesn't break down in front of everyone. But what they don't see is that she already fought the battle in private. She already cried it out. She already handed it over in prayer. By the time they see her, she's already healed parts of herself they didn't even know were wounded. And sometimes she's not even praying for herself. Sometimes she's holding up her family, her friends, her future on her knees. She's interceding for people who don't even know she's covering them. That's why her silence isn't weakness. It's discipline, it's faith in motion, it's choosing peace over panic. It's standing tall in spirit, even when life tries to knock her down physically, emotionally, mentally. She's not loud, she's rooted. And that kind of strength, you can't fake that. You can't teach that. You earn that. In the shadows, in the quiet moments, in the spaces where no one is clapping. But she's still choosing to rise. She learned that real power doesn't always come from holding on. It comes from knowing when to let go. Letting go of the need to control everything. Letting go of timelines, expectations, and the pressure to have it all figured out. That's not giving up. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's strength that moves in silence. When she surrenders, it's not because she's tired. It's because she's ready for something greater to take over. She knows there are some things her strength alone can't fix. Some mountains can't be moved by willpower, but by faith. So she releases it, not because she's lost hope, but because she finally found it. You see, there's a peace that only shows up when she stops trying to fight every battle with her own hands. That's the moment she stops carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. That's when things begin to shift, doors open, clarity shows up, not because she forced it, but because she trusted the timing. She gave herself permission to pause, breathe, and believe. Surrender doesn't look dramatic. It looks like the deep breath she takes in the car after a long day. It looks like choosing rest over burnout. It looks like saying, I don't have to have all the answers right now. It's quiet strength, but it's powerful. People think surrender is quitting, but she knows better. It's where her real transformation happens. It's where ego melts and her soul begins to rise. When she lays it down, she's not losing. She's making space for something better to take its place. The answers she couldn't see before, they start showing up, not because she chased them, but because she let go of the fear that was blocking them. She doesn't need to control every outcome to feel safe anymore. She's learned that control is exhausting, but surrender is freeing. It doesn't mean she stops caring. It just means she's smart enough to know that some things are bigger than her. She does what she can, and then she trusts what she can't. That's the beauty of her spirit. She knows when to fight and when to release. She doesn't pray for easy, she prays for alignment, because when she's aligned, she doesn't need to force it. What's meant for her will flow to her, and what isn't will fall away with grace. She moves different because she listens different. While most people rush, react, and chase noise, she slows down and tunes in. She's not listening for opinions, she's listening for guidance. Not everything deserves her energy. Not every voice needs a response. She's learned that the loudest path isn't always the right one. Sometimes the real direction comes in a whisper. The world is fast. People move off impulse, but she's different. She's intentional. She doesn't make decisions out of fear or pressure. She waits, she prays, she listens, and because she does that, her steps are guided not by emotions but by peace. You can't fake peace. You either have it or you don't, and when she doesn't feel it, she doesn't move. She's learned the power of pause. She doesn't let the outside world control her inner world. Her peace is protected, her energy is guarded. That's not selfish, it's necessary. She's built herself up from too much silence, too much pain, too many seasons of waiting to let noise pull her out of alignment now. If something doesn't feel right in her spirit, she doesn't force it. She trusts that feeling because every time she's ignored it, she's paid for it. And now she moves with discernment, not desperation. There are people who don't understand how she operates. They think she's too quiet, too calm, too distant. But she's just listening on a deeper level. She hears things most people miss. She picks up on energy, on truth, on things that can't be said with words. That's her gift, and that gift protects her. She's not chasing validation. She doesn't need people to clap for her every move. Her clarity comes from a place that doesn't shift with trends or opinions. When she moves, it's because something within her confirms it. She's not after approval, she's after alignment. And because of that, she ends up in places others only dream of. She knows that stillness isn't laziness, it's strategy, it's strength. The strongest moves are made in silence. That's where she resets, where she hears clearly, where she plans. While others are loud and distracted, she's tuned in. And because she listens different, she walks in a way that doesn't just change her life, it shifts everything around her. She doesn't run from pain, she meets it head on. Because somewhere along the way, she realized that pain wasn't there to destroy her, it was there to grow her. Every time life hit her with something heavy, she didn't stay down, she felt it, she cried through it. But then she rose, stronger, deeper, clearer. Pain didn't break her, it built her. She's the type of woman who doesn't waste her pain. She turns it into purpose. She takes heartbreak, disappointment, and loss and turns them into fuel. Not the kind that burns out fast, but the kind that keeps her going when things get dark. Because when you've been through enough storms, you stop being afraid of the rain. She's been through enough to know pain comes, but it doesn't get to stay. And while it's here, it's going to teach her something. There were times when she thought it was over, when the weight felt like too much. But somehow, even then, she found the strength to pray, not because she had the words, but because she had the will. She whispered prayers in the dark, hoping for light, and that light eventually came from within her. That's what pain did. It revealed her power. Most people try to avoid pain. They hide it, numb it, deny it. But she knew if she faced it, she could transform it, and that's exactly what she did. She didn't just survive her pain, she turned it into something beautiful, a lesson, a calling, a reminder that she's still standing. She walks different now because of what she's been through. She speaks with more depth, more grace, more courage. She doesn't judge others quickly because she knows what it feels like to be broken. But she also knows what it feels like to come back stronger. That's why she's powerful, not because her life was perfect, but because she kept showing up even when it wasn't. Pain sharpened her, it humbled her, it showed her who she is when everything else falls apart. And now, when it shows up again, she doesn't panic. She knows she'll get through it, not because it's easy, but because she's done it before, because her strength didn't come from comfort. It came from rising out of the fire. She's not afraid of the dark, because she's walked through it more times than she can count. Darkness doesn't scare her anymore, it taught her who she really is. When everything around her went quiet, when nobody checked in, when it felt like the whole world forgot her, she discovered something powerful. Her strength wasn't in the light. It was in how she moved through the shadows. There were nights she cried herself to sleep and still got up the next morning to handle life, not because she felt okay, but because she made a choice to keep going, a choice to keep believing, a choice to hold on when it would have been easier to let go. That's courage. That's what the dark taught her. It showed her how to find the light within when nothing outside of her was shining. She knows now that some of the most powerful growth doesn't happen when life feels good. It happens when she's confused, overwhelmed, and unsure of what's next. It's in the dark where her prayers got real, honest, raw, not pretty, not perfect, just real. She learned how to pray not just for answers, but for peace in the middle of the storm. That's why she's not shaken the way she used to be. She's already been through the night and made it to the morning. People sometimes wonder how she stays so calm. It's not that she's never felt fear, it's that fear doesn't own her anymore. She knows what it feels like to sit in silence with pain and still choose to hope. She knows what it feels like to feel completely lost but trust that a way will be made, and every time it was, maybe not how she expected, but always when she needed it most. She's learned to stop running from the dark. Instead, she uses it. She uses the quiet to listen, the pain to grow, the stillness to reset. She doesn't panic when things don't go her way, because she knows everything shifts eventually. She's proof of that. Every time life tried to keep her down, she rose. Every time the dark tried to hide her light, she shined anyway. That's the kind of woman she is. Unshaken, unbothered, unstoppable. She doesn't beg for blessings anymore, because she finally realized she is the blessing. She walks into rooms and shifts the atmosphere without even trying, not because she's perfect, but because she carries something real. Something earned, something deeper than words. Her presence is a result of all the prayers she's whispered, all the pain she's turned into power, and all the battles she's fought in silence. She's the kind of woman who used to pray for strength, and now is strength. She used to ask for peace, and now carries it with her wherever she goes. That's what happens when you stop chasing what's outside of you and start recognizing what's already inside. She doesn't need to prove her worth. She walks like she knows it, talks like she owns it, because she understands that she's not here to just take up space. She's here to make an impact. Her life is the answer to prayers she doesn't even remember praying. And now, she covers others the same way she once needed covering. She's the one people call when they need clarity, peace, or hope. Not because she has all the answers, but because she's real. She listens. She uplifts. She doesn't just speak light, she lives it. She doesn't just inspire, she empowers. She doesn't walk around waiting for someone to save her. She became the woman she needed. She's not dependent on what the world gives her because she knows who she is even when nothing's working. Her joy doesn't come from outside validation. It's built from within. That's why nothing can take it away. People feel better when they're around her. Not because she's loud or flashy, but because her energy speaks before she does. She's rooted. She's solid. She's calm in chaos, focused in noise. She knows she's here on purpose, for a purpose. She doesn't need to be the center of attention to be powerful. Her spirit speaks for her. She walks in rooms like she belongs, not to impress, but to bless. Every lesson she's learned, every tear she's cried, every moment she's wanted to give up but didn't, it all added up to this version of her. And now she's no longer waiting for the blessing to show up. She became it. So if you're listening to this and your soul is tired, if you feel unseen, unheard, or forgotten, know this: you are not broken. You are becoming. This is your reminder. Your power isn't in how loud you scream, it's in how deeply you believe. You, warrior woman of prayer, you are the storm.